You're watching the Finance Report. I'm Mallory Hoff alongside David Wilkinson. David Reyes will be joining us shortly to break down the keys for retirement.
That's right, a packed show ahead. We'll discuss what it takes to not only survive but thrive during your retirement. 15 and 15 will feature taxes, 401ks, and ChatGPT as a stock predictor. I kid you not. Plus, market volatility.
Pleased to be joined by David Reyes, the founder of Reyes Financial Architecture, a San Diego area firm that focuses on preparing people for a successful retirement. David is also a popular radio show host. David, uncertainty connected to the market and the current state of the economy has a lot of people feeling uncertain about their retirement planning. But should it?
I think so. I mean, when I say that respectfully is that if you don't have a plan, right, if you don't plan anything, vacation, your retirement, hopefully, you know, it can be stressful. So, you know, I think there's an easy way to deal with that, and it's just seek some advice, you know, from somebody who's been there and done that before.
Yeah. Well, let's dive deeper into what could potentially make it easier. What does that mean?
Yeah, well, it means, again, start with a plan.
Okay.
And we always focus on cash flow. We talk all the time on this show about, you know, we're got to replace a paycheck.
Yeah.
So the first question I ask clients is, you know, what's your net paycheck? You know, after taxes, after 401k contributions, if it's $10,000 a month, that's where we got to start. So that's kind of the first benchmark that we shoot for is the paycheck.
So you want to create multiple streams of income in retirement. Big picture, how should that look?
Well, you want to be, they talk about diversification, you know, in stocks and bonds. We want to diversify income streams. So most of us are going to have Social Security, maybe a pension if we're fortunate. So we like to create at least 2 or 3 more. Maybe that's lifetime income from an annuity, that's real estate, investments maybe, that's dividend-paying stocks. And we like to have consistent, predictable income streams.
What's it like when someone comes into your office, first opinion, second opinion, for that first appointment process, and they sit down with you and you're laying out with them, you can have these multiple streams of income, but they've never even thought about that. They've never thought about having one, yet multiple.
Yeah, well, because kind of the old school way, and I call it old school, but it's pretty much what most people do, is they just basically sell assets, right?
Yeah.
That's why people are so afraid to retire. They have $1 million in their 401k plan and they need $10,000 a month. All they can think of is every year I've got $100,000 left in my account, right? So we need to create, we always talk about kind of a rental property as an analogy. If I can have a rental property, they like rental properties because I own the property and I get cash flow. So let's think about putting a renter inside your 401k plan that pays you income.
How often do you find people are over-leveraged in the market and they're too close to retirement? Is that fear of missing out getting in the way of them having a comfortable retirement?
It can. I would say most people recognize that, I probably need to make some adjustments. They just don't know what to do.
Exactly.
Right? So that's kind of where we help in saying, hey, here's some ideas, here's some thoughts about really trying to turn that portfolio from what we call when it's growth and savings to protect, produce cash flow, and grow. But it's just a different way of ordering, you know, how we want that portfolio to look.
So if you go about insulating your income, I'm curious what you believe that does for someone with their money and their approach to the market.
Well, it gives them confidence. I mean, we're in the peace of mind game. I mean, I'm based, all my job is to have that client feel confident in retirement and relax. And so to do that, they have to feel confident that they have the cash flow that they're not going to outlive.
So tax planning is such a critical piece of this puzzle, and yet I know so frequently overlooked. What do you find when people present you with their portfolio for the first time? What do you often see?
Yeah, I mean, it's more of a retirement income question in the sense that they have their portfolio. Yeah. Now, the reality is that retirement assets like 401k plans, IRAs are all tax deferred. They're going to pay taxes. But the fact is there's lots of ways, lots of things we can do, whether it's how we take income from taxable accounts versus tax deferred accounts, those types of things that can really make a difference on the taxes.
Yeah.
We need to have an approach to mitigate those taxes, right? I mean, yes, you're going to pay Uncle Sam. Yes, you're going to have to do that through retirement. But are there ways to go ahead and lessen that tax liability?
Yeah, I think there's three areas we look at. Number one is, again, the ordering rules. Do we want to take from taxable accounts versus tax deferred accounts, right? Capital gains taxes for a married filing jointly couple, you can have almost $100,000 and pay no tax on capital gains.
Wow.
So it may make sense sometimes to take from taxable accounts first, maybe defer Social Security. Secondarily, maybe large sales of highly appreciated assets like real estate, businesses, things like that we talk about.
All right, so let's talk a little bit more about capital gains. What do you think people are missing right now?
Well, capital gains tax is almost a choice.
Yeah.
You can decide to. There's many strategies. I say many. There's a handful that we can do to defer, eliminate capital gains tax on the sale of different assets. And so those are things that we focus heavily on because those can be significant tax. Somebody has $1 million property they paid $1 for.
Yeah.
Well, that might be $300,000 of taxes that maybe we can do something about.
Am I incorrect here if I were to assume that a lot of brokers and advisors don't talk about these things with people?
Most don't. I would say the traditional big box.
So I'm correct.
Yeah. You know, again, respectfully.
Yes,
right?
We'll take it.
Respectfully. But I would say that the larger institutions, it's more just about asset allocation. Traditional stock and bond portfolios is what I see. And again, I'm just as anecdotally what I see every day.
Yeah.
It's here's my pie chart. I got this much stock, this much bond, and the advisor says you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. And that's the extent of the planning.
So when is the appropriate time to start having these conversations about your retirement plan?
I always say within about 5 years of retirement. So I don't care what age you are. You could be 45, you're going to retire. But most of our clients are in their late 50s, early 60s, and that's about the time. I mean, 3 to 5 years. The reality is most people kind of show up at the door. David, I'm going to retire next month or next week. It doesn't matter, right? And most people that come see us have done a good job of saving. We're just trying to optimize and do the best we can on a forward base with their money.
Well, piggybacking off that, it seems to me when someone comes to you, it's going to be a situation where you're looking at their portfolio, you're looking at their numbers, and it's, can we help you here? If we can't, yeah, you're doing everything right, but really in a sense, your job is to see if you can help and improve somebody's retirement.
Absolutely. Again, we deal with very successful people. You know, all the gamut of school teacher, firefighter, I call it, engineer, doctor, everybody. Most of the people have done a really good job of saving their money. All we're there to do is to help to ensure that we don't mess it up, right?
Yeah.
That we protect their money, we produce lifetime income streams, we grow their money. It's complicated with taxes, Social Security, long-term care. It's on your own, I think it's pretty difficult. A lot of people probably will be okay, but do we want us to be okay? I want to ensure that we have a high quality retirement.
So of those individuals who walk in for the first time, some have worked with an advisor in the past, others have been do-it-yourselfers for years. I want to talk about those do-it-yourselfers. Some of them are very intelligent, highly insightful, and yet they're missing a few things.
Yeah, I think the missing link always is, you know, our tagline is you retire once, we retire every day.
Sure.
And that's, I ask them, how many times you retired, right? And we've retired indirectly through hundreds of times through our clients. And so the missing link is always how do we create income, right? Because they're afraid to spend their money.
Right. I'm curious, we started off talking about people needing to survive retirement. Sometimes that's a mindset. If you're laying out a plan right now, I know everyone's different, you don't want a cookie cutter approach. How would you define thriving during retirement?
Thriving, it's pretty straightforward. It's not worrying about my income in my retirement, right? So it's creating income streams that we can be satisfied with and not only just cover expenses, but cover lifestyle. So when we talk about cash flow, it's about lifestyle, not about paying the bills. So once we've solved for that, everything else is pretty easy.
David, always great information, which means the time to act is now.
Absolutely. Today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement as a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call is 858-293-4644. Once again, that number is 858-293-4644.
Pensions have gone by the wayside, and most Americans will rely on their 401k for their retirement. But there are pitfalls associated with those 401ks. David, you've been doing this for a long time, and you've seen it all. Tell me about some of those pitfalls.
There's a couple, 2 in particular. One would be investment options. I mean, the investment choices have really dwindled down, which is kind of a good and bad thing because people really, most times, don't really know what to pick anyway. That's one, I would say, investment options. Number 2 is fees. Sometimes the 401k plans can have a lot of fees, whether it's the company themselves that's sponsoring the plan or the internal fees of the mutual funds that are inside of there. And probably the third is income, right? There's no income that we can get from the 401k. We can sell those investments for income in retirement. So those are probably the 3 things, is the investment choices, the fees, are the 2 major ones.
All right, so we've just kind of discussed the ugly. Tell me about the good.
Yeah, well, the great thing is they're great savings vehicles. So you can put a maximum of $23,000 a year in your 401k plan. If you're over 50 or 50 plus, you can put $30,000 a year in, which is great. Also, if you're a business owner and you can do a solo 401k and put $69,000. If you're over 50, you can put $76,000 in. So it's a great savings vehicle.
In your office, you actually do a portfolio x-ray. Tell me what this can accomplish for people.
Yeah, it's a great way to find out, number one, what are the investment options and are they suitable for you? Number two, what are the fees that are inside of there? And number three, are there ways that we could improve upon that? Maybe they're close to retirement, they want to move their 401k plan to an IRA so they can manage the money themselves or hire an advisor. So those are the kind of things that we do for the 401k x-ray.
So for the people who think they're doing all the right things, they're contributing to their 401k, but they really haven't gotten to the big picture that is retirement planning, what do they need to know?
Again, that whole 401k plan, in the end, it's about income.
Yeah.
Right? So that transition from saving to spending money and creating lifetime income that they can't outlive, that's the missing piece that most people don't really have their arms around, and that's where we like to help.
So since you can't really move things around until you're 59 and a half, is it of value still to have that conversation well in advance of that age with a financial advisor? It is, right?
Absolutely. I say if you're at least 5 years or less before retirement,
Yeah.
you should seek out some advice. Whether you hire an advisor or not, it's great just to get a second opinion or a second set of eyes on what you're doing.
Wonderful insight and guidance as always, and we will continue our conversation in just a moment. But first, coming up on the Finance Report, we'll discuss market volatility, and up next in 15 and 15, David will put this David on the clock.
ChatGPT for your stock picks now.
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
But first, today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 858-293-4644. Once again, that number, 858-293-4644.
Fasten those seatbelts. It's time for 15 and 15. 15 topics in 15 seconds. Sir, do you have the need for speed?
Sure.
All right, let's do it. Question number 1. According to a report, many workers believe inflation is the biggest obstacle when it comes to having a more secure retirement. But David, why do you disagree?
Yeah, it's on the list, but it's probably not the top.
Okay.
Number 1, cash flow, right? Income and retirement. I would say number 2 would be taxes. And inflation is probably a third. We need to make sure that our money can grow the spending power of our money over time, for sure.
All right, solid answer. Yeah. Question number 2, confidence can be found for investors doing it on their own, especially if they've made money. But why is overconfidence something to be careful of when you're dealing with the market?
I think that's just life, right? We don't check our ego at the door, right?
I like that.
So the fact is that, yeah, saving money is a lot different, right? We can go through the ups and downs. Once we get to spending money, we got to be a lot more careful, right? And make sure we're protecting money first, producing lifetime income, and then growing our money.
Check the ego. I like that when it comes to our money.
Go.
Question number 3, people can cite 2008. They can cite COVID, 2022, market issues that cost a lot of people their retirement savings. But do you feel enough of pre-retirees really understand their risk number?
No. No, probably the biggest thing is when we go through our risk assessment with the clients, they have no idea how their money would act, during 2000, 2008, because they were still saving money.
Yeah.
So it kind of hides over some chinks in the armor. So we want to make sure they understand it, not to scare them, but to say, hey, there's some ways that we can mitigate volatility in the portfolio.
I'm going sidebar on you right now. Risk assessment, what is that process like?
Well, what we're going to do is take their portfolio and say, hey, what would happen during, a stress test? What happened during 2000, 2008, COVID, 2022, where these markets dropped 20, 30, 40, 50%.
Yeah.
How would that show up, especially when you're taking income, right? That's when it's really dangerous to just have your money kind of set and forget it.
Okay, I broke the brand of the segment, but I felt like it was an important question to ask. Question number 4, when it comes to paying for retirement, people have their theories on how they're going to go about doing it, but why is thinking your investments are the best way to pay for retirement maybe something you say don't do?
Yeah, so we definitely we have to invest money, right? Most of us have 401k plans. We save, we own stocks, we own bonds. Typically, we want to own additional asset classes like maybe lifetime income annuities, real estate, dividend-paying stocks. Again, that all have one thing in common: income.
Yeah, diversify. Multiple streams of income.
Yes, sir.
You keep saying it, and I keep listening. Question number 5, most of the current retirees out there get retirement funding from Social Security, perhaps some pensions. There's the personal savings route. For those on the verge of retirement, though, how might their funding look different?
Yeah, on the verge of retirement, it goes back to the same thing. We're trying to turn, cash investments in 401k plans, retirement accounts into lifetime income. So there's definitely going to be kind of a makeover in the investment, at least with our firm, in how we're going to rearrange those finances to make sure we have sustainable cash flow.
Yeah, back in the day, we had the three-legged stool?
Yes.
Not so much anymore.
Yeah,
Question number 6, no retirement plan should be of the cookie cutter variety. You've said that. So when it comes to an annuity, what age actually makes sense for one?
Well, that's kind of a trick question because there's a couple ways. If we need one today, that's a different answer than maybe if I'm 55 and I'm going to retire in 10 years, I can get a lot more income by buying the annuity today. So really, there's almost a good time to buy one at any time if we're going to use that for cash flow or to protect our portfolio. So, we do a lot of clients that have annuities that they just started retirement today and they're buying an annuity. And clients that are 5 years from retirement that are buying an annuity because that deferral period increases the income significantly.
Bravo, sir. Being asked a trick question, and you nailed it. Question number 7, health expenses could be your largest risk during retirement, 6 figures plus. So what's the best way to go about covering these costs?
Yeah, that's a rough one.
Yeah.
The long-term care costs are expensive. I mean, here in San Diego right now, if you need memory care, it's $100,000 a year.
Wow.
Right? The average person needs memory care or long-term care at 84 last 3 years. That's a $400,000 bill per year if you're 64 today and need it at 84. So that's a problem. Most people don't want to pay for long-term care coverage. So the secondary benefit is make sure your investments are handled properly so we can hopefully self-fund if that's our only option.
Yeah, because it's not something you want to happen, but something you might want to plan for in the event. First half of 15 and 15 in the books. Great work, sir. Still more to come, but first today, exclusively for our Finance Report viewers, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement as a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call right now is 858-293-4644. Once again, that number is 858-293-4644. All right, firing the clock back up. Question number 8, retirement, it can last 10, 20, 30, 40 years. When we act, though, as if our retirement is an unknown amount of time, what concerns you?
Well, it'd be nice if we knew when we're going to die, right? Not that we want to know that, right?
Yes and no, I guess. Yeah,
the milk carton plan, right? The expiration date. No, but in all seriousness, we plan for clients to 100. I mean, the average life expectancy is in the mid-80s for men and women. But, we want to make sure that we have income for the rest of our lives, no matter what that is. We have a client who just passed away a couple years ago. She was 104.
Wow.
Right? So, we got to make sure that we have money that we can't outlive, for sure.
You do not want to run out of money in retirement. Question number 9, we've seen a lot of people over the past few years diving into their 401k to address immediate emergencies or even unemployment. Your thoughts on going that route?
Yeah, bad idea.
Bad idea?
Bad idea. Paying for college, emergency. I mean, I get it, man. It's been tough since COVID and inflation. And you're right, there's been a lot of distributions coming out of 401k plans for non-retirement issues. So, that just means somebody doesn't have saved enough money. So unfortunately, that's not the best plan.
Understood. Sticking with the 401ks, a study found that over a 2-year period, nearly 50% of people cashed out some of their 401k after leaving a job. But what's the risk there?
How about taxes, number one?
Taxes is a big one.
Number one, you're going to pay 20, 30% taxes, maybe penalties if you're before 59.5. So not a good idea either.
All right, we're looking to avoid penalties in retirement. Yeah, more money in our pockets, less in the penalty box. Question number 11, there are a lot of investment options for people and their money, but why do you say people should consider a Roth IRA?
Well, because, it's not for everybody, right? It depends.
Yes.
There's no cookie cutter.
No cookie cutter.
But if it's appropriate for a client, we're very aggressive with moving money from taxable to tax-free accounts. It's not free. We got to pay the taxes today.
Yep.
But in some instances, it makes a lot of financial sense, especially if you have children, because that money will grow tax-free as well.
Yeah, tax-free. Sign me up for
there
that line right there. Question number 12, retirement ready. How does David Reyes define retirement ready?
Replace your paycheck with consistent, predictable income. That's the straight line answer, right? Once we can solve for our goal is always to produce the most amount of income, least amount of risk, never run out of money. right? So once we've done that, right, then everything else is a lot easier.
It's essentially like a checklist.
There we go.
Go through the checklist. You go to the grocery with one, at least I do. Yeah, you need that for retirement. Question number 13. In an effort to spread financial literacy, how often are you seeing people make big decisions without really understanding the big picture?
Well, all the time. I mean, again, just retirement in of itself, right? The one thing I see a lot of is people like moving one 401k to another 401k when they could have moved it into their own retirement account and managed it themselves or had an advisor do it. Because that's kind of a really not that painful relative to taxes or things like that, but that's a big decision, moving money from one plan to another. Typically, it's better to move that into your own retirement account so you have more control.
Well, I'm going sidebar. Why might people think that's the option or best choice for them?
Well, a lot of times they'll do that because they've worked for 3 employers and then they want to make it simple to have it at their new employer. But there's a lot of limitations to 401k plans. We talk about fees and lack of investment options and those types of things. So not the best idea.
Yeah, it might be easier, but maybe not helpful to maximize your money. Question number 14. What are the big concerns you have when people in the retirement red zone hit pause on their retirement savings?
Yeah, that's not a good thing. I mean, the good news is they're increasing the contribution limits, our government is. I mean, there's a lot of good things happening around that. We talked about solo 401ks. Now you can put $69,000. If you're over 50, you can put over $70,000 a year away. So that's one of the, we gotta maximize our savings. So 401k plans are great vehicles. I never recommend pausing those for anything, whether it's education or other expenses. Hopefully try to plan around that if you can.
Very solid advice. Final question of 15 and 15. I've been waiting all episode to drop this one on you. According to a recent research paper, ChatGPT can predict how stocks will perform. So David, are you going to use ChatGPT for your stock picks now?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir. I got to learn to use it first to not use it.
I know, right?
So, not there yet.
Not there yet.
Yes.
So for the people, though, that might think that's the route to go,
I don't know.
you don't know. That's all we're getting out of them. So I will say this, ladies and gentlemen, I have heard it's great for writing scripts for television shows. Not that this one was used. Through ChatGPT. David Reyes, off the clock at 15 and 15. Great job, my friend. All right. For those looking to get a better handle on their retirement, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review just for you. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. It's a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call right now is 858-293-4644. Once again, that number, 858-293-4644.
If you're getting close to retirement, the stock market is a roller coaster ride you don't have to be on. David, what could possibly go wrong if we're overly invested in the market?
Oh, I don't know. Let's see over here a couple ways. Here, let me think.
Talk me through it.
Tech wreck, lost 50%.
Yep.
2008, lost 50%. Here's the COVID crash, lost 35% in 3 weeks. Here's 2022, Fed raising interest rates down 20, 30%.
So in all seriousness, if you're getting close to retirement and you take a hit, what does retirement look like?
Yeah, it's not good. I mean, I can tell you factually, so if you retired in 2000 right here to 2000, basically 10, 15, the market went nowhere, right? So imagine you're spending down your money. That's how you run out of money. Losing half your money twice during 2000 to 2008. And if you're spending 5% per year, which a lot of people are, plus inflation and fees, that's the way you run out of money. So we have to protect against that.
So when you're getting close to retirement, say 5, 10 years out, when should you pull back on risk?
Well, I think 5, 10 years out, about 5 years out for sure, 5 years out for sure, that's when we really start looking at repositioning clients' assets. Is that 5 to 10 year range? We call it the retirement red zone. So that's the initial time we'll look at that.
Okay. Do you find that people are afraid of missing out on gains? They're thinking about what's upcoming. Ooh, I want to make sure I'm leaving enough to my kids. Why don't I stay in a little bit longer? What are those conversations like?
Well, we have a word for it. We call it buy income, invest the difference, right? So once we get to, we want to solve for income first, and then we can knock ourselves out, right? If we have, especially if we have guaranteed lifetime income, right? We can buy the income, and then we can invest in growth because we're not having to spend that money.
Then you can play a little bit, right?
Exactly. So that's kind of, we always start with the most conservative plan first, and then go from there.
I want to go back to what that big loss can look like. You might not have the years to make it up, right? What have you seen with folks who have walked into your office for the first time after taking a hit like this while working with somebody else?
Well, they're scared.
Yeah.
I mean, I had a client come in January of 2020.
Okay.
And he had about $5 million.
Okay.
I met with him again in April of that same year, and he had $2 million. He sold everything at the bottom during COVID, right? Came into me with half the money that he started with. That's a problem.
All right, so earlier in our show, we talked about your portfolio x-ray. Tell me what role all of this plays when it comes to that portfolio x-ray.
Yeah, so the first thing we're going to look at is risk, right?
Yeah.
What is the risk? What is appropriate for you to take? What can you take mentally and emotionally, but also mathematically, right? So that's why we go back to our buy income, invest the difference. We want to make sure our income streams are taken care of for the lifetime for our spouses and ourselves. And we want to make sure that we grow our money to protect against inflation in the future.
Always great information, which means the time to act is now. If you want to make sure you have the right asset allocation, David has a great offer for you. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap analyzing where you are right now and discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. The number to call right now, 858-293-4644. Once again, that number, 858-293-4644.
Closing time here on the Finance Report. David, before we go, when it comes to wealth planning, why do you say everything is really driven by income?
Well, because that's kind of where it starts and ends. If you can't retire, if you can't replace your income. So that's where we start.
How can we make sure all of our assets have a cohesive purpose?
Again, it goes back to first we have to solve for income. Again, we call it the buy income, invest the difference. Once we have the cash flow, then everything else falls into place.
Extracting the maximum benefit from our assets. Is that possible?
Absolutely. We're very blessed. The clients that come see us, they've already done a good job. They've won the game, so to speak. Then it's about how do we optimize and make it so they don't stress about their money, right? Everybody has stress about money, good and bad. And so we want to make sure that we can reduce that anxiety in retirement.
What's the most important thing pre-retirees are aware of right now?
Pre-retirees, I would say Social Security is a big one, right? We want to make sure we optimize our Social Security. Number 2, again, how do we turn that savings account, the 401k plans, into lifetime income?
What about having an eye on wealth transfer to our heirs?
That's becoming more and more. We have the largest wealth transfer that's going to be happening right now between baby boomers and their kids, right? And so that's a big one. There's tax implications. There's some tax laws that are changing potentially in 2026 with the Trump tax cuts that could really impact estates, and that we're focusing on a lot right now.
What do you feel should be the most important takeaway from today's show?
Income, always. We've got to solve for income. We talk about inflation and taxes. If we have to solve for income to have the kind of quality of life we deserve in retirement.
Absolutely. And I know you've said this before, you can never have too much income in retirement. And David, I know to help our viewers at home, you have a very special offer.
That's right. For those in or near retirement with savings of $500,000 or greater, give us a call and our team will help you put together your very own second opinion review, and we'll do it on a complimentary basis.
An excellent opportunity that should not be missed. Once again, for you at home, exclusively for our Finance Report audience, David has a special offer. Right now, for the first 5 callers with a portfolio of $500,000 or greater, he's offering a complimentary second opinion review just for you.
That's right. This will allow David and his team to sit down with you personally and provide you with a roadmap, analyzing where you are right now, and then discuss your best steps to really get ready for a successful retirement. You can call this a game plan to get you where you need to be. The number to call right now, it's 858-293-4644. Once again, the number to dial, it's 858-293-4644.
And for all of us here at the Finance Report, thanks for watching. We'll see you back here next time.